Sawadika.
Sawadika, can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Megan Wise, and I live in Krabi. I am a teacher and a local in the community.
So how long have you been in Krabi for and what attracts you here?
I have been living in Krabi for 2 years already, and I'm attracted to the natural beauty of Krabi, the kindness and the good-heartedness of the people, and probably the amazing food.
Alright, so have you heard about the plan to build coal power plant in Krabi and what is your view about that?
I have heard about the coal power company coming in and creating new facilities here in Krabi. And from experience, I can say that this is not something that I look forward to. The effects of coal plants are typically negative for the direct community and the environment, and I think the environment should be of greater concern than the possible profits from having power created here.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, for me, as I said before, one of the first things I noticed in Krabi is the beautiful scenery. And my concern is that if a power company is built here, that some of the things that attracted me in the first place aren't going to be here anymore, and they won't attract other people to come. For a power plant like this, the lifespan of the last power plant was 30 years, and then it was shut down. And oftentimes that's the case, that the power plant itself lasts for a short time, but the effects of the power plant are what really lasts for generations and generations. In Krabi, tourism is one of the most important industries. So I think that it's more important to focus on tourism as an industry because it's a long-term goal. The power plant may produce power and income, profit, for a certain amount of years, but then it's finished and you've ruined the natural environment. Whereas if you take the time to make sure all of these natural beauties in Krabi are not affected by things like a power plant, you have an industry that will last generation after generation, and that's more important. So I guess my biggest concern is, at the end of the day, what will future generations come to Krabi for? Will they see the things that I've seen, and will they fall in love with it the way that I did? And I think the answer is, if there's a power plant that affects all of our environment, the answer will be no. They won't see what I now see, and that would be a really devastating thing.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Sawadika.
Sawadika, can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Rhiannon Clark, and I'm a teacher here in Krabi Town. I've been living here for almost 5 years now, and this is the place that I call my home.
Well, calling Krabi home, what attracts you here and what makes you stay?
Initially, like many, I guess I came here on holiday, but I just so easily fell in love with the place because of the people and the environment and the nature that surrounds the town, the nature in the whole province. That was why I came here, and that's why I stayed, and that's why I'm here now.
Right. Well, have you heard about the plan to build the coal power plant in Krabi, and what is your view about that?
I have heard about it. I've heard about it a lot, especially recently. I just can't see how a coal plant anywhere these days could be a positive thing. I mean, we're living in a much more modern era, and I don't think that we should be focusing on something like coal, which is something of the past. And considering we live in a country like in Thailand, and the country is full of natural resources that we should be focusing more on instead of something like coal, which is something of the past.
Anything else you'd like to add?
In my opinion, using coal is just going to affect the country and this province in a negative way. It's gonna. I'm very nervous about what's going to happen to the tourist industry, just because it's such a big part of the economy here, and if that part of the economy is to be destroyed or affected in any negative way, I'm worried about the future of the country, not just the province.
Thank you.
Sawadika.
Sawadika, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Joseph Ferrara. I'm a teacher from the United States of America, and I'm now currently teaching in Krabi. I teach in Anubang Krabi School for Pratham 1.
Okay. How long have you been here for, and what attracts you here?
I've been here for 6.5 years. I first came to teach, and I was attracted to Krabi by its natural beauty, being close to the beaches and the mountains and the wildlife. And the people kept me here, and now I'm happily married and have 2 kids.
So, have you heard anything about the plan to build coal power plant in Krabi, and what is your view about that?
I've heard about the plan, and it deeply disturbs me. First off, because let's forget about the environment, the impacts it's going to have on the natural beauty of the surrounding area of Thailand that brings people here, that initially brought me here. But what I'm more concerned about is the effects on the global the effects on the global population. I think that with Thai political issues, I normally stay out, but I don't think that this is a Thai issue or a political issue. I think this is a global issue, and it's going to affect the citizens of the world. So a coal power plant in Krabi is going to affect people on the opposite side of the world. It's going to affect people in America, my family in America as well. So I think there's I think that we should all get involved and all have our say. As people here have said before, that coal is a dying use of power source. It's no longer an acceptable alternative form of energy. In fact, there's lots of issues that can arise from making a coal power plant. Land issues, like what land is using it. Waste management, what are you going to do with the waste? Who's going to control that? Who's going to be in charge of the waste management? There's a lot of solid waste, let alone air pollution as well. Water pollution, the beautiful natural species of coral and fish that are in the Krabi area and sea life is going to affect them. And also the dangers of the people that work on the coal mine and the people that mine it and bring it here. It's going to affect people. My children are being raised in Krabi. They're going to be growing up in Krabi, and it provides 45% of energy to the states alone last year, but it emitted 80% or more than 80% of the carbon dioxide. So it's a very unbalanced. It's unbalanced in my opinion, and there's a whole bunch of alternative resources that you can use. The World Health Organization has estimated that burning coal can shorten over 1 million lives annually, and there was over 1/4 of lives shortened in the States alone. That's my home country, so this is what I'm talking about. One last point is coal also has a mercury, and if that gets released into the water, the fish will ingest it, and then we eat the fish, so there's also a danger of mercury poisoning. It just seems logical to try in the 21st century to find an alternative energy source and save the beauty of Krabi and save the health of the local residents and the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you. ขอบคุณค่ะ
Sawadika.
Sawadika, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Carrie Gallagher, and I come from North Carolina in America.
How long have you been here in Krabi, and what attracts you here?
I've been living here off and on for 6 years. I often stay in Krabi and then go home for a bit and come back. So I have the opportunity to constantly compare Krabi to home, and I stay here because I think Krabi is better for me. I love the people and the nature and the lifestyle.
Well, coming from USA, have you got any direct experiences with the coal power plant?
When I was a college graduate and looking for work, I campaigned in the state of North Carolina for anti-coal. At that time, there were a number of respiratory diseases that were being caused to the local people in the mountains and the western part of the state, all from the coal power plant pollution. So I walked around and campaigned to teach people and ask them to sign petitions to educate the North Carolinians on what's going on in their state.
Okay. And is that because of the negative impacts of the coal power plant?
So yeah, we wanted to educate people because of all the negative impacts. A lot of people had diseases, suffering from lung cancer and upper respiratory disease, as well as asthma. There were some massive negative effects on the environment, on the industries, and also on the small communities.
Yeah. So, but what is the government, the USA government, or the North Carolina government view on this?
Okay, so currently in our state, it's a big topic for discussion because North Carolina recently had coal ash spills into the rivers. In February of 2014, 39,000 tons of potentially toxic coal ash poured into a local river. So the Duke Energy Company has admitted that they don't know what the long-term effects of this pollution is, and they've invested in a $10 million cleanup act to sort of try and fix the problems that they've caused. So the people that didn't know in the past are now being educated because of the mistakes and the problems that have come from the coal power plant. And it's just a very current issue in my state.
And then, have you heard about the plan to build coal power plant here in Krabi, and what is your view about that?
I have heard a lot about it. I know a lot of local people are campaigning against coal in Krabi. I view that it's not a good idea to start a coal power plant here. I understand that my state has its troubles with the power plant, but the plants are already built. We're not talking about the building of new plants. We're talking about solving the problems that the plants cause currently. Krabi has the opportunity to say no to coal and not put the power plant in the beautiful province. So I have heard about it. I know about it. I'm not a fan of it. And I think that it's, a logical answer to say no to coal if you have just the basic facts.
Anything else? Oh, last but not least, what do you think about the clean coal?
Well, if anyone's ever touched coal, they know there's no such thing as clean coal. We're discussing the issues. The fight right now is to not build the plant. But what about once the plant's built? Who's going to regulate it? Who's going to have enough knowledge to know how to keep the coal as clean as possible? I grew up in rural Ireland, where my father comes from, burning coal fires, and I can tell you firsthand, coal can never be clean.
Thank you very much.